there are certain things. So the reason why boxing has three has three judges, is because each one of them sits on a different side of the ring, and the idea is that by doing that, you manage to see every angle, and you've got the different artistic style preferences or that you bring individually are kind of evened out by having three separate kind of judges scoring it. So the idea is that through them you will get you will get kind of a fair scoring system. However, obviously that still means that occasionally if you ever have a wide scorecard like we did where Ritson wins the fight by 17-11 means that he won 9 rounds and the other guy only won 3 rounds.
That's mad.
Like I said, I haven't seen the fight.
There's no way.
There's no way. That kind of wide scoring is something. It seems to be something else on top of that. It'd be very like everyone's watched sort of football. Everyone's watched some sport and thought, and they've heard the commentator say something, and you think, actually, I think they're doing all right. I think they're doing all right today. I don't agree with that. But the idea is if you have multiple people, then, you should have a consensus and you should end up with the right result. And it feels like that didn't happen today. So that's kind of to explain why the scoring system is set up like it is. And having the 10-9 must. So the idea is that someone has to win every single round. Me and Alan were talking about the Katie Taylor fight, and he said he doesn't like that, and I agree with that, actually. You can have a draw and round.
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
you shouldn't have to give a winner. And so when you have tight rounds, there is like I said, your own preferences, your own unconscious biases can give a round to someone that they don't deserve. And if that happens a lot, then you can end up with wide scorecards like you see. Like you said, there are cases when home fighters, the reaction of a crowd will influence a referee or a judge's kind of decisions. Like when, if two people land a punch, if two people land punches, one of them gets a massive cheer and one of them gets nothing, the one that gets the massive cheer sticks in your mind more, doesn't it? Obviously.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
But again, that didn't happen because there was no one there. And the final point I wanted to make was sometimes there's an idea of like the champion's advantage, where to win a title off a champion, you have to really, really outbox them to win the title off them. And again, you will see sort of, Mayweather was the absolute pinnacle of it, but he would box on the back foot and, just do enough to win rounds. He'd do a lot more than just enough to win rounds, but he would do enough. He would put in his work, win rounds, and get out there without any kind of damage to himself. And that was why he was so successful. So whereas the other person might be throwing loads more punches, if they're missing, if their work's not as sharp, then that can be why they don't win. However, again, this wasn't a Ritson title defense or anything. So basically, this has all been my long-winded sort of explanation of saying there's no excuse for that fight to have been scored as badly as it was. And like I said, I haven't watched it back yet. I get very disheartened when the conversation is about boxing scoring, because it's preference. It's imagine if it mattered whether you gave a film 2 stars or 5 stars. Imagine if that actually mattered in the real world. It's not something that boxing referees are and judges are an absolute thankless task. Well, I mean, you get to watch a lot of boxing, but it's not. No one ever pats you on the back and says, "Oh, you got that one really right." Well done on picking the quality boxing over the. No one ever says that, but yeah. I don't, and I have seen very, very dodgy decisions that have happened in the past. And like I said, I haven't seen this one, but I know that they do happen. And I would say it's more incompetence than corruption.
Okay.
Not that I'm saying there isn't corruption in boxing, and I'm not even going to say that, it only happens in America or only happens in Vegas or anything. I'm sure there are boxing promoters who slip brown paper envelopes to judges and stuff, like they do in the movies. I'm sure people actually do that in real life. It's nothing like, it's nothing like you see in the movies, I'm sure. But I don't think that was the case this time. Okay. I know someone I know that someone said rather unfairly that there's not even any point in nobbling the judges because Ritten's never going to go beyond the European level.
Yeah.
So someone very unkind might say that, Alan. So someone might say that, but one thing to remember is it's not Ritten's fault. This is a bad refereeing decision. This isn't.
Yes, it's he
didn't cheat to win. He's not. This isn't the equivalent of a footballer getting a player sent off or diving for a penalty or something. He's done his work, and he's been given something that maybe he didn't deserve. But don't take it on Ritson, and hopefully he can. Although he'll get the win in his sort of on his record, hopefully he can learn the lessons from it and can make the improvements that are needed to hopefully to move on. Because having been to see Ricky Hatton fight in Manchester, and having been to see like Michael Hunter fight in front of only a couple of thousand people in Hartlepool in front of his hometown crowd. The Metro, it's not called the Metro Arena anymore, is it? The arena in Newcastle, the
Utilita.
Called? Yeah,
Utilita.
The Utilita Arena in Newcastle with 10,000 Geordies in it cheering on Lewis Ritson could be an absolutely amazing sporting event, an amazing sort of like night that that people would flock to and want to be a part of. And so hopefully he can sort of have some more of those fights and can keep improving. And this isn't that. Hopefully his career isn't marred by this dodgy decision. Hopefully he can go on and put it to bed and go on beyond this and hopefully have some more fights in the future that get rid of this bad taste in the mouth.
Okay, well, let's hope so. Okay, so we'll quickly move on to rugby. So the rugby is back with a bang. Now, again, neither of us are massive rugby fans, but there is international rugby came back this week with Scotland had a friendly with Georgia, which they won 48-7. So apparently that's really good in rugby, James. So I think fantastic. I jest, obviously, egg chasing is wonderful. Of course it is. And then France and Wales. So the Six Nations comes to a conclusion next weekend with the final round of fixtures. So France and Wales warmed up with a 38-21 win for France. There was one Six Nations fixture which had to completed from round 4, which was Ireland-Italy. So Ireland won by 50 points to 17, securing the bonus point win that they needed. So looking ahead, now, as I say, neither of us profess to be massive rugby fans, but I normally will watch Scotland if they're on. So, and if I'm on and there is literally, like, if the Kabaddi's not on, then maybe I will tune in and watch. I'm kidding, egg chasers. I am. I do love it. So going into with Ireland securing that bonus point win over Italy, they are in the box seat for the title. Now they go to France, so they're going to have to beat France. England go to Italy, needing a bonus point win and to pile the points on. It all depends. If Ireland can beat France, it would be a real shame if they didn't win the title. However, if England go to Italy and absolutely put 50 points on them like Ireland did, then they would probably deserve it as well. But the thing is, England are going in a little bit undercooked because their game this weekend was supposed to be against the Barbarians, which we'll talk about in a minute, which was obviously cancelled due to a breach of COVID bubble regulations. But so how do you see because you're like me and you kind of watch international rugby rather than club rugby in any great detail. So is it England's or is it Ireland's? What do you think?
I think
so I may also say that if France beat Ireland by a bonus point and England don't beat Italy with a bonus point, then France could win. So, but that's unlikely, I think. So,
So I think England. So France have to go to Ireland have to go to France and win.
Yes.
So obviously that is the biggest hurdle of them. It's the biggest hurdle of them all, basically, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Yeah.
For many teams, and I think having the much easier game. England's is England's sort of plan is very, very easy. They just have to beat Italy and score as many points as they can.
Yeah.
And I have no doubt that England will do that. I actually think that would be a very, very good game to watch. I think England will be playing all out attack.
Yeah.
There'll come a point anyway when England will just go all out attack.
Yeah.
There'll be some really flamboyant play. There'll be, long passes. There'll be mazy dribbling runs and stuff. It would be really, really good to watch, I think.
So just to clarify, there's an 18 points difference between Ireland and Italy. So they've got to overhaul an 18-point difference, secure a bonus point, and hope that Ireland don't put 25 or however many points on France.
Yeah.
So it's quite exciting.
Yeah. So the thing is though, because of the TV kind of demands, sort of a good few years ago, the football kind of made a decision where whenever there's a competition and there are sort of a league competition, all the final games will be played at the same time.
That's right.
And that's absolutely standard across the thing. And because of the TV demands of the Six Nations, sort of the England game is before the France-Ireland game.
Yes.
Now, I'm sure that Ireland will go away and they will just be concentrating on the game against France anyway.
Sure.
But if England have gone out and put 70 points or something on Italy, then there'll be so much pressure on Ireland that I don't quite think they'll be able to do it.
Yeah.
To win and get a bonus point, which is what they'll need to kind of win it.
But I think they're in the position, Ireland, of knowing exactly what they're going to need to do. So if that is going to be a bonus point win over France, which I mean, it could end up, like the France-Wales game, like both teams scoring 4 tries, and Wales only scored 3, but you know what I mean. But like they could end up being like 38, 34 or something crazy like that. Yeah. So
it could be. Yeah. And it'll be interesting to see. But I think, and I'm not saying this in a listen. I'm the most pessimistic Hartlepool, England, Durham fan. Yes. I'm pessimistic of all the teams I support. So this isn't like a blind kind of nationalist idea of how great English rugby is or anything. But I do think that if it was the other way around, I actually think if it was the other way around, if the match was the other way around, for example, I think England would really struggle with the idea of needing to score, say, 70, if they needed to score, say, 62 points or something to beat Italy. I think that would put a lot of pressure on them. In cricket, they call it scoreboard pressure, don't they?
That's right.
Just that thing of, it's not actually to do with the quality of the person you're facing or the quality of the bowler that you're facing, for example. It's the fact that you've got in that mind thinking, I absolutely can't get out here. I need to score a lot of runs here. All of a sudden puts more pressure on you and makes actually scoring runs more. And I think as
Durham fans and England fans, many times in the cricket.
So part of me just think that, and I'm not saying that Ireland aren't professional enough to put it out of their minds and have a game plan and execute it and stuff. I'm not saying that England could have a real struggle with Italy. The Barbarians game not playing this week means that they haven't played a game in
months, really,
months and months. So I think it's going to be a very, very entertaining afternoon, an early evening of sport as well.
So I think it starts off
games live on TV and stuff.
Yeah, on terrestrial TV as well. So you've got Wales, Scotland at 2:15, England, Italy 5:15, and then 8:05, France versus Ireland. So I may tune in. I'm at work anyway, but I may tune into the France-Ireland game at the night time. So we touched on it before that England are going in a little bit undercooked because their Barbarians was cancelled. Now, this was cancelled because the majority of the Barbarian squad decided to break the COVID secure regulations that had them in a bubble, in a hotel with a full bar, with a pool table, with every amenity that you could imagine. They decided all to go out for dinner, not just one day, but 2 days, Tuesday and the Wednesday. Now, we're not talking a bunch of kids here. We're not talking a bunch of 20-year-old lads, not an excuse for Mason Greenwood and Phil Foden, right? But they're just daft boys and stuff like that. These are professionals, experienced professionals, grown men, Chris Robshaw, Sean Maitland, these are international players. And the fact that they couldn't just sit in their hotel room for a week when they've been... Now, again, I don't know a lot about rugby, but what I do know is that to get invited to play for the Barbarians is quite a privilege, isn't it? And they've really not only let themselves down, they've let the fans down, they've let the Barbarians down. They've let England down. Especially Robshaw, who's an ex-England captain. And